Now, with all good cameras comes the bad, and there's a couple of bad things on this camera that I want to talk about. Now, let's get right to it. The buttons, the manual buttons on this camera are super counterintuitive. It's unbelievable. They're like underneath the flip screen. And when you're working with the flip screen out, which I like to do, especially when you have a touch screen, it encourages you to use the touch screen. It is tough to go underneath. You have to go underneath the screen to see where your buttons are. You can't necessarily find them quick. It has been a drag since I've had this camera, and I've had it for almost over a year, and it has been one of the biggest problems. Now, I have a lot of issues with the actual button situation on the manual. The other thing that bothers me is that whenever you double press any of those manual buttons, you put that setting in auto. Now, that doesn't sound like a bad thing, and it is a pretty good thing because it can be quick. But what happens is, if you make the mistake of double pressing a button and putting it in auto, and then you go to another manual setting, as you move that manual setting, your other setting, because it's in auto, will start readjusting for the manual setting you just changed. So it is a bonus to have because you can basically work in aperture priority or shutter priority, and that's kind of cool, and you can do it quick with a double click of a button. But if ever by mistake you're going quick and you're trying to do stuff quick, it can get in the way. So it would be fun if we had another way to actually get into auto, or maybe within the settings change that so it doesn't do that. Maybe there is one. Leave a link below. Leave a comment below if there is one. Please let me know. Now, with all these cameras, they always offer you a slow motion function. They tell you we can give you 120 frames per second at 1080p. Woohoo! Problem is that they always bring down the bit depth to get you that slow motion. And slow motion, by definition, when you bring that into your edit, must be of the highest quality. Slow motion means a long take normally. It means you need a take that's really sharp. And because of the fact that they're giving you slow motion with lower bit depth, and the actual image becomes a tiny bit muddy, the footage that you get is nay shy of useless, and I mean useless. 120 frames per second on these grades of cameras is just not good. I haven't seen it. If there's a camera out there that does it, please tell me. I know the Sony lines, the new A7s do offer better quality, but it still is not great quality. I would rather work at 60 frames and interpret on a 30p timeline or 20p timeline. I get the quality I need to get those slow motion shots, and I get the effect that I need. Anything else to me just doesn't make a lot of sense. So the 120 frames per second is there. You might use it, but 99% of the time, I can say with confidence you won't find yourself using it that much within your timeline. It's just not nice enough. Now, a lot of these cameras have what's called focus by wire. So when you actually focus, you're actually turning a ring that's communicating with a chip, and the chip's telling the lens to focus in or out. I just don't like that. It's a personal preference. My FZ1000 has it, and a couple of other cameras I've worked with have that, and I don't like it at all. Now, what I am saying is that this camera has focus by wire, therefore I don't like it. But of the focus by wires that are out there, I think this is one of the best I have worked with. So the actual focus function on focus by wire on this is really nice. Let's talk about the touchscreen. It might be due to the fact that when you have a touch screen, because of sensitivity and the technology you have to put in it, you can't get the sharpness that you get out of just a normal LCD screen. But I have an FZ1000 and I do like the LCD screen a lot more than this Sony LCD screen. Now, I know I'm not comparing the two. I don't want to compare the two, but I'm just saying that it is quite shocking to what extent the other screen is sharper. So when I went to this camera, it seemed a bit more muddy, a bit less accurate, but that might just be an impression. I just wanted to mention it, that for me, I have seen better LCD screens. The menu system on this camera is garbage. It's just typical Sony menu system that nothing seems right with it, and I just don't like it. Some people say that they don't mind the Sony menu system. I have a hard time with it, so I just wanted to mention that that's something that bothers me a bit. So there it is. There's my sort of brief review. Let me tell you something. It is a fantastic camera. I use it a lot in shows. I have been using it a lot out there with doing some nature video these days. I wanted to say it's just absolutely an excellent camera, and I wanted to mention some of the bad points. Follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. For my high quality stuff, check out Behance. If you like this video, don't forget to give me a thumbs up at the bottom. And if you want to keep in cahoots with what I do, subscribe, and don't forget, everybody, keep on making something from nothing.